I feel like I need to clarify. When people talk about Archnemesis, they're talking about the version of Archnemesis we have in Lake of Kalandra. So we need to look at the Lake of Kalandra announcement for what Archnemesis is. Just so we're on the same page here. Archnemesis was fine in Sentinel. It didn't have the design intention of this. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. It wasn't. It was terrible. It was fine in Sentinel. It was fine. I do not know what to say. It was fine in Sentinel. I will... Look, chat, it will honestly probably feel exactly the same as it did in Sentinel, except you'll have extra loot. Explain what was bad about it in Sentinel. Explain. Go on. Because it didn't have the stacking bullshit to this degree. Like, it wasn't nearly as difficult, and it didn't have the loot bullshit. There was no magic fun. Go on, explain. No, I think you guys are like... have selective memory. Mechanic was how is it tedious? All this difficulty bullshit was a thing that happened this league, not last league. There was a big difference between Archnemesis Lake of Kalandra and Sentinel Archnemesis. Streamers, right? To hate people wrong, yep.
In Lake of Kalandra, we are targeting 3 such leagues. Archnemesis.
See, we need this is what we need to watch.
Beyond and Harvest. The larger context here is that we've been re-examining what role rare and magic monsters have in Path of Exile. The introduction of Archnemesis modifiers as the monster mod pool prompted quite a lot of discussion about how often you should encounter rare and magic monsters, how difficult they should be to kill, and how rewarding their death should be.
Oh, I love being right. Oh, God. Oh, just... Oh... 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 God, my neighbors are gonna think I'm literally cooming. Just keep watching.
Previously, League content made fights hard by spawning a lot of rare monsters. A whole lot. In some cases 6 to 8 times the normal rate of rare monsters. Now that we have better mods available to make fights against rare monsters individually challenging, we have gone through the whole game and normalized the rate that rare monsters are spawned at. Some leagues had quite large reductions in spawn rate.
I mean, I could not have written it more. Make rares give loot more proportional to difficulty of counter. Average out the difficulty of rewards of rare monster encounters between base game and league content. I could have worded this a bit differently. That was the whole, like, instead of encountering 10 trillion different... That was that, essentially. That was all... I mean, to be, this was hidden, though. This was also hidden. You're just arguing about different shit, what most people care about, which was the stacking Archnemesis modifiers and the loot goblin shit. Okay. But my point is that this is... Okay. I get what you're saying now. I get what you're saying now. This is still a thing. You could replace this. You could replace revamp content Archnemesis with revamp content not Archnemesis. Just replace the term Archnemesis with like pandas. All right, it's the panda system.
Beyond and Harvest. The larger context here is that we've been re-examining what role rare and magic monsters have in Path of Exile.
Pretend this is not Archnemesis.
So, the introduction of Archnemesis modifiers as the monster mod pool prompted quite a lot of discussion about how often you should encounter rare and magic monsters, how difficult they should be to kill, and how rewarding their death should be.
Like, just pretend it's called something else. Just pretend it's called literally pandas or bananas or something. Or pretend it's called angry loot goblin. I don't know. Pretend it's called anything else, but listen to what he's saying, and it still applies to everything this manifesto has to offer.
Previously, League content made fights hard by spawning a lot of rare monsters. A whole lot. In some cases 6 to 8 times the normal rate of rare monsters. Now that we have better mods available to make fights against rare monsters...
That's still a thing. That's still a thing, by the way. That's still a thing.
...individually challenging. We have gone through the whole game and normalized the rate that rare monsters are spawned.
This is still a thing.
Some leagues had quite large reductions in spawn rate.
Still a thing.
You won't encounter situations with dozens of rare monsters on screen at once anymore. Alongside this reduction of how many rare monsters you'll face, we have improved their rewards and made
Now, they've improved their rewards still, relative to the difficulty in the encounter.
Sure that they scale with both difficulty of the encounter and any item rarity or quantity bonuses that you have.
It's still a thing.
During the campaign, you'll only encounter 1 and 2...
Now, this is obviously the rework. This is the part that has changed. This is the part that has changed. But those goals, still a thing.
2 mod rare monsters. The 2 mod encounters are a bit harder and have better drops.
That's still a thing. That's still a thing. This means you'll encounter more complex fights less frequently.
Posaved. Copium.
You don't know what kind of rewards you get. Rare monsters with more mods are more likely to have these hidden reward mods. That's literally like...
During the campaign, you'll only encounter 1 and 2 mod rare monsters. The 2 mod encounters are a bit harder and have better drops.
Like, to me, it's still Archnemesis. And to be fair, it's different in the way that you care about, because it doesn't have 10 trillion different modifiers anymore. The mods are clearer, and you don't have the loot goblin magic find meta. So the parts that you didn't like are gone. But it's still Archnemesis. It's just a good version of Archnemesis. To me, it doesn't really matter. I guess I see what you're saying. I'm arguing semantics, but I feel like they didn't have to rebrand it. I think, can we just say, this discussion has made it very clear that people really don't like Archnemesis. Like, they could have done exactly the same manifesto, but if they took out this line, people would be so upset. Like, if they just said the goal of the new Archnemesis system, like if they just called it Archnemesis, people would be so upset still. But it's the same. Anyway, that's what I was trying to say, that it is semantics, but for some reason those semantics matter so much. That's why I find this video funny though from Palstron, because I don't think Archnemesis was removed. So people happy at least? Please tell me people are happy at least.
Longer is better.
It's gone. But see what I mean though? People think it's actually gone. I'm very glad they rebranded. Vero is so smart, I have to say. Vero should probably fucking work for GG at this point. Vero is so smart. See, this is funny to me. Christ, it is over. Funny we are back to the old system except slightly newer. Yes, it's the old system except there's new mods that make the encounters play differently, and when there's a combination of modifiers that make the fight especially challenging, you get extra loot, extra hidden special loot. Yes, it's exactly like the old system, except exactly like Archnemesis. I don't know. Anyway, Archnemesis meant 3 different things in each one of these leagues. In Archnemesis, it referred to custom encounters that you could create that gave you a variety of loot that you could essentially create. You could create an encounter that gave you loot, right? Sentinel League, it didn't do that. Sentinel League was testing a way of changing modifiers, right? It was a way of changing powerful crits to, funnily enough, this is actually part of the problem. What is the crit mod in Archnemesis? But it's Assassin. It's a way of changing powerful crits to Assassin. And then Lake of Kalandra was about taking what they did in Sentinel, but then making it powerful, even more like crazy, but also rewarding. Like, nobody was rioting over Sentinel. The riots in the streets were over Lake of Kalandra. Like, where's the Asmongold streamers are quitting Path of Exile in Sentinel League, huh? The start of Sentinel was also bad? Yeah. But we're talking about start of Sentinel either. We're talking about, like, Sentinel as a whole. Let's be honest here, most leagues suck the first couple days. It is known. Your beloved Delve League, chat? You know, the beloved Delve League that you guys so much liked? The fucking cart didn't even function. The cart was so bugged it didn't even work. Day 1 bestiary, you couldn't enter the bestiary. Are we really gonna say bestiary was bad because you couldn't enter the bestiary the whole league? No, because you couldn't enter the bestiary after like the first day. It was just bugged. Are you angry? Yes, I'm furious. I'm so angry. Don't hurt your back. Anyway, I'm glad people are happy. I still think Vera is based and correct. They just rebranded it. Well, when I say rebranded, I do mean they reworked it, but I still think it's essentially trying to do the same thing that Lake of Kalandra was trying to do, just hopefully in a way that is actually fun and not dog shit. Regardless, moving on. It is semantics. It is semantics. That's the whole point, that it's semantics. That's the whole point. But anyway, chat, I have a mystery box to claim. Oh wow, I have no res. Oh my god! That's why I was nearly dying! Because I got the Katava res penalty! This broke my back. I forgot about that. That's what broke my back! Because of the res penalty, I forgot.
There's also an experience I'd like to relate of the idea that someone sits at work wanting to play Path of Exile, because when they get home they get to go kill some monsters while chilling out, it's not too stressful, and they find some awesome items and feel like it was a productive evening, and they want to do that every day when they get home from work. And this is something that I think we've achieved more in the last few years.
But it is, like, you still have to have it so that, you know, every now and then, like, every couple of maps or whatever, there's the thing that's kind of like, oh, well, shit, I have to deal with this, you know?
Threx, yeah.
Like, just to sort of wake you up, and, you know, make it interesting.
Salazar.
So, ideally, you know, the overlapping different mods and things like that, like, all the different factors that can happen, or, like, you know, or Tormented Spirits, and all that kind of, like, Tormented Spirits are a great example of, like, you know, oh, this boss is normally fine, but, oh, crap, a Tormented Spirit infected it, and now it's, like, a real hard fight. Like, that's the kind of thing we like in terms of difficulty, because it's, like, an interesting story of like, oh, this thing happened, and then the game became really hard for a little while, and then I concentrate on that, and then, like, you know, then I'm, you know, when I'm done, I can go back to kind of, you know, just doing the easy stuff.
Right. We also learned a ton about signaled versus non-signaled difficulty. Invasion, where the monster will kill you from off screen and it's somewhere on the map and you don't know, is very stressful to play. Kind of like Tempest in a way. They're fatiguing things where suddenly you could have to pay attention all the time. Whereas in something like Essence, you have to manually.
See what I mean though? See what I mean when I talk about, like, I'm not saying PoE right now is too hard. I don't think anybody is really saying that. Because that hard is probably the wrong word. It's too fatiguing. It's too oppressive. That is the right word. Fatigue, oppression. That's annoying. There's different words for it, but it all means the same thing. You're stressed out too much, and you're not just, like, blasting. Like, yeah, 100%.